Welcome to another edition of Inside the Line, Real Stories by Real Cops. I'm Dave Rattigan. With me, retired cop Dale Lawrence. Hey, Dale, how you doing?
Doing just great today, David.
We're going to have fun. Nathan Arroyo's with us today. He's an actor. He's a comedian. He's there all the time. Hey, Nathan, how you doing?
Hi, Dave.
Thanks for getting up. Thanks for waking up so early to come.
Welcome.
I got to tell you this. It's a cold day in Massachusetts today, and I saw a guy, middle-aged guy, younger than me, much younger than Dale, and he was out and he had shorts on. He was mailing a letter, and I thought, that heartens me. Somebody going out and braving the elements.
There's actually a guy that runs by the Seaside Studios here on the North Shore, winter, spring, summer, or fall, with no shoes on. He's a barefoot runner.
Really?
Hardcore.
Oh,
hardcore.
That's wonderful. I
Don't
want to
screw with a guy like that.
I know. You think so? Is that it?
Yeah.
I want to say this. Frankie Bravo, hanging in there, conveyed the message that he listened to the show last week, was happy for the shout-out, and played it for the ICU nurses that zapped him with the defibrillator.
Oh, there you go. Keep it going, Frankie.
Yeah, keep it going, Frankie. Looking forward to seeing you once that rehab is done. If you need to reach us, we're at insidetheline.org, or if you want to email us, we're at realstoriesbyrealcops@gmail.com. If you like the podcast, please share it. And we're going to do something a little bit different this time around. In the tradition of the great game shows like Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me on NPR, Cash Cab. I know that's your favorite, Dale.
I never really heard. I'm like $10,000 pyramid or the $20,000 pyramid.
I think you're more like a newlywed game guy.
In about a year from now, it's going to be the $25,000 peso pyramid or something like that.
Yeah. We got to get you off Fox News. And Jeopardy. We decided we're going to do a little game show. We're going to set this up like a little game show, and we were thinking about what we were going to call it. And we thought about what would you do, but that's already been a TV show.
Very popular.
And then we thought about You Make the Call. They had already done that for the NFL. And then luckily we had Nathan come in.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, just rolled out of the rack.
Smelling of something, I don't know what. And eyes all puffy from the night before. Anyway, and he had a great suggestion. So this is going to be the name of our game show. Go ahead, Nathan.
Cuff or kill.
Cuff or kill.
I said it as a joke. I didn't think they'd actually use it, but here we are.
This is and we liked it. And we liked it, and Dale thought cuff or die, but I think you and I can agree, Nathan, that K words are always better for
very easy to remember, yeah.
Cuff or kill. So the question is really, basically the situation is going to be this. Dale, you're going to be our MC. You're going to give us scenarios, and we're going to tell you what we would do, or if we were a cop in that situation.
Yeah, basically, if you were a cop, because everyone, my 32 years in law enforcement, I don't know that there's another profession out there that everyone from an 80-year-old lady to a 12-year-old kid knows how to do the cop's job better than them.
I can tell you two professions that are exactly the same. It's school teaching.
Yep.
Everybody thinks there can be a better.
Guess what? Nowadays, I think they're right, but go ahead.
And number two, comedians.
Comedians, I was about to say.
Comedians. You know what you should do?
Everyone knows how to write a better joke than Paul Nardizzi, right?
Exactly. So anyway, so you're going to be the MC. You're going to be the scorekeeper.
I'm like the patrol sergeant, because out in the street, when you get a couple of rookie cops like you and Nathan over there, and if you don't know what to do, hopefully there's a seasoned veteran. He's called the patrol sergeant. And he or she will usually roll up on the call when you're looking all confused and you're about ready to wet your pants, Dave. You don't know what to do. He or she will help you out and guide you. I'm going to be the patrol sergeant.
I'll know what to do.
Okay.
I'll know what to do. Don't you worry about that.
Are you guys ready?
We're ready.
Who wants to go first?
Aren't you going to ask what we're going to... What are we playing?
But who wants to go first, though?
Oh, I think Nathan should go
first.
Yeah,
Nathan's going to go first.
Why not?
Hi, Dave. What are we playing for?
Well, I think I thought about this, and I thought what would be a good prize, but honestly, I think we should just figure it this way. If I lose to Nathan, I am just going to go kill myself, and I think that'll be prize enough for him. Would you say that?
All right. Can you sign over the rights to Scamps Comedy for us?
It all goes to my 16-year-old daughter.
Oh, there you go. All right, so The first one is going to be a mental health call, and I got Nathan Arroyo on the docket ready to go. You ready to go, Nathan?
Yeah.
All right. They dispatch you to a distraught female. She's around 20 years old. According to the calling party, she has depression issues, drug issues, and she says her life sucks. You confront her walking down the street, about a quarter mile from her home, and strike up a conversation. How would you handle that call?
Hey, go home.
Sure, it would be. Here's what I think it would be. It would be, you up?
How would you? Would you walk? Would you get out of the cruiser? Would you talk to her? How would you handle her? Seriously.
Just the idea of him driving a cruiser is frightening to me.
I would not get out of the cruiser. I'd stay in the cruiser. I'd try to start a conversation. If she keeps walking, that's when I get out of the cruiser. And if she keeps walking, then I'll just follow her and continue to try to convince her to go home. If she's still walking, probably tase her.
All right, okay. You know something?
And then deliver her home.
He's probably about 50% right, but I'm not going to give you the final answer, Dave, because you got to do the call yourself, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm in that same situation, actually, I go straight to the taser.
Yeah, straight to the taser.
I'll speak to her I'll maybe say a sentence. If she doesn't respond, bzz, taser, and then I'll stand over and say, now, let's start again. But I like the taser answer.
The taser. Now, let me ask you. So she's suicidal. The call came in that she was suicidal, depression, her life sucks. She has drug and alcohol issues and all that stuff. So what you would really want to do with that, you probably would want to get out of your cruiser and try to strike up a non-confrontational conversation with her and just ask her how she's doing for the day and where she's heading, if she's had any alcohol or drugs for the day, so you can kind of get her state of mind. You might want to tell her that you got a call and someone was concerned about her welfare and see what she says to you. And I'll be honest with you, this situation, you had a couple of options. All right, this is a true life situation. The first option was you can always call an ambulance to that case, and the ambulance people can help make an assessment. And if they feel that she's a danger to herself, suicidal, or if she's homicidal, like she's going to kill someone, you can involuntarily take her to the hospital to be evaluated. That didn't happen in this case.
You can involuntarily take
You can, but you just can't do it because you want it. There has to be some cause, and based on her statements and her state of mind and in her past history, you can involuntarily take her for a psych eval.
So you're saying that as a policeman or police officer, but in my case it would be a policeman because I identify as a male, he, him.
Don't forget to say rookie, but go ahead.
Okay. I can come in and I can ask her questions, very concerned about her well-being, non-threatening, non-confrontational questions. And if she answers them a certain way, I can take her involuntarily up to the to the psych ward.
But that didn't happen in this case.
Okay.
What happened in this case?
How often, by the way, would something like this happen where somebody would be taken
all the time
involuntarily?
5 days a week in a city of 30 or 40,000, 5-6 days a week, easy.
Which is
once a day.
A suburban city.
Suburban city, absolutely. Yeah. You know, in a New York or a Boston or places like that. Oh my!
Will you take somebody involuntarily?
Absolutely, because they're a harm to themselves or others.
Okay.
But the punchline here is that didn't happen here because this young lady gave all the right answers that she was fine. She was just going for a walk, and she was a half mile from her house. And she was another half mile from an 80-foot bridge. So she continued down the street. She went to the top of the bridge, and she jumped, and she died.
Ugh.
So this was a situation where I think the cops on that call probably did the right thing because there was no, direct threat that she was going to do something directly. You can have a bad day. People can feel depressed. Doesn't mean they have to be taken to the hospital involuntarily. If she wanted to go, they could have taken her, but she didn't. She answered all the questions appropriately. The officers made a on-scene assessment, and they felt she was fine. And unfortunately, that assessment didn't work out, and she jumped off the bridge probably 10 minutes later.
So she gets no points.
She gets no points.
Okay, fair enough.
I would say that I'm going to give both of you 1 point. I don't think you did better than the other. You had the the help of going after Nathan and seeing his mistakes and trying to correct yours?
I didn't see any mistakes that Nathan made. I thought everything he did was fine, especially the tasing.
All right, I'm going to start with you on this one, Dave. Since you're the older rookie officer here, you're going to be in charge of the police station.
Okay, excellent.
All right.
Less running.
So you have a 30-year-old male that
Yep.
comes into the station. He's not arrested. He's just highly intoxicated.
Okay.
So he's placed into protective custody.
He's brought in, or
He's brought into the
walks in?
station.
Okay.
They got a call of a guy just staggering down the street, 2 p.m, middle of July, staggering down the street drunk.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. Cops showed up. They said to him, "Hey, where you going, brother?" He goes, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm pretty much homeless." They said, "Well, why don't you come to the station? We'll give you a nap for about 6 or 7 hours." So they brought him in, no problem. They cuffed him up, brought him into the station. Well, he's in the station for about an hour, and you go down to check the prisoner every half hour or so by law to make sure he's all right. And at some point, you went down there and he said to you, "You know, Officer Rattigan, I'm just not feeling too good today. I feel like I might want to harm myself." How do you handle that?
All right, so he says that he wants to harm himself, which means he could be suicidal. I give this a lot of thought. I give this one a lot of thought.
Well, he is locked up in a cell. He's in a cell right
And
now.
he's by himself. And
By himself.
Have we taken his belt?
Yeah, that's standard. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's standard.
I mean, so he doesn't have anything there.
He doesn't have anything in the cell.
But he could bash his head against the...
I've seen that before.
Yeah, I know. That's ugh.
Yeah.
I hate that one. I mean, how do you... Well, never mind. We're not going to...
One of your girlfriends probably did that at some point in your life when she found out she was pregnant with your baby.
Well, actually, that's never happened.
Okay.
But I think plenty of times I've dated women and I've banged my head against the wall so I could try to forget. Hopefully get amnesia.
What are you going to do? You going to leave him there? What are you going to do?
Hold on. I know. This is a hard one. No. I have somebody bring him for a psych eval.
All right.
That's what
That's
I
a good
do.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. What about you, Nathan? How would you handle it?
This is directly after he says, "I feel like I'm going to harm myself."
Yeah.
I say, "LOL, do it, bro."
I've heard
Put
that
your
before.
money where your mouth is.
He's thinking he's on social media, not in the cop station.
Believe it or not, I've heard that before. Not the correct response, but I've heard it before. Yeah, so basically, that's a pretty easy one because when you have someone in custody,
I don't think it's an easy one. That's a hard
he's
one.
in custody. You already have him in custody, so you at least know while he's in your custody, he's going to be safe. All right. So when someone makes a suicidal comment, typically what you do is you'll call an ambulance and you'll inform the ambulance personnel of what he or she said.
Okay.
And they'll ask him a few questions on their own and they'll make a determination. Usually that determination is, why don't you go up to the hospital, okay, and speak to someone.
We don't say we're going to bring you to a psych ward. We say we're going to
Well,
bring
you
you
go
to the
right. You go to
hospital.
the most places. You go to the emergency room. They
Yeah.
do an evaluation.
That's
They'll have
interesting.
like a social worker come in and speak to you. Then they'll determine if you're okay. If you're okay, you'll stay there for a while. If they feel that you're a harm to yourself, you're going to be involuntarily committed for 3 days minimum,
or
in like a psych ward,
harm to yourself or others.
or others.
Yeah.
Yes. So, want to know what happened in this situation?
The guy ignored it, and the cop ignored it, and
Yep, the cop ignored it. Shortly thereafter, a few hours later, once he was sobered up, he walked out of the police station, directly down to the train station, and walked in front of a train
after he had sobered up,
after he sobered up.
he'd had enough time to think it over.
Yep.
And thought, my life is not that great.
And there's a high-speed train going to Boston at around 3:48. Let me see if I can get in front of that, baby. So that's how that went down.
Wow. That's when you're, as a cop, you gotta have a mind like a relief pitcher. You've got a short memory.
Oh, a short memory?
Short
Because
memory.
me and Nathan aren't athletes, so I don't know what that analogy
okay.
stands. Is that an analogy?
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
we can call it an analogy. It's a metaphor.
Oh, a metaphor. There you
Metaphor.
go. Well, I guess on that one, I'm going to give that to Dave. I got Dave up 2-1 here.
You didn't give Nathan points on the LOL. Do it, bro.
All right, you guys are doing pretty good here. Now, this is a very common one. This is very common with officers. Mental health calls are probably 20% of your calls on any given shift, whereas drug overdoses or drug-related calls can be 30 or 40%, especially in today's climate.
And this is suburban.
Any community. I don't care what community it is.
Okay.
New York, Boston,
Really?
North Shore, South Shore. Drugs are everywhere. And whether it be heroin or pills or whatever the case may be.